Hello, today we're going to go through the American Eagle fully automatic dough divider rounder machine. We're going to go through some troubleshooting steps and show you how it operates. Now, as you can see here, it's hooked up to power and ready to operate, and I'm going to go through the front control panel here real quickly. On here you can see there's a knob that controls the operating mode. You can have it do dividing and rounding, or just simply put it into dividing mode. There are two timers here. One controls the pressing time, and then one controls the rounding time, and you can set it between 0 and 6 seconds. There's a indicator lamp here that tells you that the machine is power, and then there's a reset button here, and an emergency stop is here as well. Now, once the tray is fully loaded into the machine, you would want to press the two start buttons here simultaneously to do the dividing rounding action. Now, if you have the machine hooked up and the machine is not dividing or rounding, or it's not operating correctly, the first culprit to do is and check the power, make sure that it's hooked up correctly. All of the dividing rounding machines are 3-phase power, and so one of the wires or phases might be miswired and needs to be corrected, and the power needs to be in the correct phase, or else it won't work. The machine will effectively be running backward. Now here there's a hydraulic valve which needs to be in the correct position in order to operate. Without it being in the correct position, the hydraulic fluid will not flow, and this machine has a hydraulic head, and you can see the hydraulic lines in the back here. Without the hydraulic lines being fed, again, the machine cannot operate. Now, the correct position is actually you want this to be closed fully clockwise. If it's open like this, that's not the correct position. So you want it to be closed fully, and that's a correct position. So once it's plugged in, I'm gonna just make sure the main power override is on. Okay, and then make sure that the scale is also set correctly. There's a scale here that sets the machine weight, or the weight of the actual dough pieces, and we're going to be demonstrating with about 7 pounds of dough, which is about 3,000 grams of dough, and this specific machine is a 30-part divider rounder. So you would divide 3,000 by 30 and get about 100 grams. So notice that the scale is set to 100 grams. That's incredibly critical that you set and calibrate this correctly, so the divider head knows how far to go, essentially. So once this is set correctly, we can roll out the dough onto the tray, like so. And what's really key here is to make sure that the dough is evenly distributed on the tray, and that the dough covers the dimple pattern on the tray. You can see there's like a slight dimple pattern on the tray, and you can use a rolling pin to get a nice even distribution of the dough. And I'm going to just distribute it a little bit better here. And once that's distributed, we can then put the dough onto the machine and see it in action. All right, so once it's in place, make sure that the tray is centered, and then it's on the nub there. And then I'm gonna hit the 2 start buttons simultaneously. We actually had this in dividing only mode, so I'm gonna just put it into dividing and rounding And then I'm gonna just restart it again. And as you can see, we have 30 perfectly formed dough balls.